everybody. Welcome to Memorial Stadium as the Rider Raiders take on the Lewisville Fighting Farmers from Memorial Stadium in Wichita Falls, Texas. Skip Boyden, along with Rich Siegel and the entire WFTV broadcast crew. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening, Skip. And we ought to have a good game tonight, I think.
Exactly. It is a very crucial game for the Rider Raiders as they have to try to find a way to upset Lewisville, who is coming in on a roll and a half at 5-0.
Lewisville with a 5-0 record, 2-0 and 5-5A. They've outscored their opponents in district play by a count of 51-19. We know they can put points on the board, and we also know that they've got a stifling defense. Last week they beat Sherman, and they beat them rather big.
In the first 3 weeks, they came up in playing good defense. They didn't let anybody score, and here recently, they've only given up, as far as their opponents, 19 points overall as far as in the district is concerned. But as far as that goes, they are stingy on defense. They don't give up too much.
Well, and the Raiders tonight are going to have to find some holes in that Lewisville defense if there indeed are any to be found. And we'll find out right from the outset. Skip Ryder has won the toss, and they have elected to receive. There's no wind advantage tonight like there was last Saturday afternoon when Ryder played Richland Hills.
A crucial thing to talk about for the Raiders, some key injuries. Tyrone Wesley will not be playing. Curtis Simpson will not be playing, and Brian Stoller is still out with his rib injury.
And, of course, that means that quarterback Ramon Flanagan is going to have to call on some other talented players tonight. One of them, of course, will be Montrell Lewis, who last week ran for 222 yards in the win over Richland Hills and had 2 long touchdown runs. Rashad Hickman may get a few carries this evening as well. Of course, we do know that Rashad led the fine blocking last week that allowed Montrell to break away for some of those long runs. And we may see a little more out of Fat Carnine tonight. The tight end, the talented tight end, may be called upon to perhaps exploit the Lewisville secondary, but we'll see how that develops as this game goes along. One thing for sure, Skip, if the Raiders control the ball, Lewisville can't score. And if you can keep the ball out of the Fighting Farmers' hands, you have a chance of winning this game tonight.
And talking a little bit about the Rider Raiders, which we will continue to do as we get set for the opening kickoff. Offensively, we'll set up the offense for you here in a second and tell you that they are having problems in moving the football as they did last week, and hopefully that will change this week. As the Farmers get set to kick it off, and we're about set to get this high school football game of the week underway from Memorial Stadium, the Farmers and the Raiders. Mark Potter gets set, put his foot into it, and does. It is taken by Chad Jackson. Jackson up to the 15 and all the way up to the 20-yard line, and the Raiders start off 1st and 10 from the 20.
Chad Jackson with the return of about 16, 17 yards up to the 20-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will put the ball and play the ball actually just a little bit shy of the 20-yard line. Ramon Flanagan will open up calling signals, and he's got a very talented running back behind him in the name of Montrell Lewis.
Lewis and Hickman stand behind Flanagan. We're set up the rest of the offense here right after this play. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Flanagan up the middle to Hickman, and Hickman gets about 6 or 7 on the play. Hickman brought down by Bison on the play. A good 6-yard pickup.
You know, one thing that we may look for early on tonight in mentioning how Ryder might try to exploit the defense of Lewisville is the fact that they are expected, the defenses, to key on Lewis, who comes into this game averaging just under 6 yards a carry. And as a result, they may not be as concerned with Hickman's presence in the backfield. We'll see how that develops.
We'll take a look at the offensive line after this play. And there comes Lewis, has the first down across the 30-yard line up to the 32. And that's one thing that they are going to have to work on, as head coach Wayne LeBlue says. If we can get them moving like they did as far as finding the holes and the offensive line blocking, we can move them out of there.
Coach LeBlue was quite happy with his offensive line last week in the 24-14 win over Richland Hills, and looking for the same type of effort tonight. Ball control is what's going to win this game for Ryder. I think that's a critical key to any success they may enjoy tonight.
The very first down of the ball game. Flanagan now makes the pitch to Lewis, and Lewis gets hit 3 or 4 times and will be dropped back for a loss at the 30-yard line.
Good pursuit by the Lewisville defense, playing off their blocks, and gang tackled Montrell Lewis at the 30.5-yard line. We'll call it the 31, a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11.
Todd Nender, one of the first men to get there for Lewisville. And now we will see if Flanagan will come out and throw the football. Not that successful last week at throwing the ball. Keeps it on the ground. Lewis up to the 36-yard line. It'll be a third and passing situation as Neander again on the tackle.
In last Saturday's game, Ramon was 4 out of 9. There were 2 passes that were dropped, but of more importance, I think, is that he ran the offense well, and that was one of the things that Coach Lulu was happiest about, was that Ramon did a good job of running the offense. He only threw 9 passes and completed 4, but still, the key to the quarterback's job, run that offense, and sure enough, he did that last Saturday.
He's 20 of 55. Play action this time. Across the middle, wide open, and overshoots the intended receiver, Thad Carnine, who was wide open.
Skip, he got behind Dino Vielma, number 6, and had distance in between he and his would-be coverage of about 5 or 6 yards. If the pass had been a little better thrown, that's a 6-pointer right there. So again, early on, we note that they're going to try to use Thad Carnine a little more this evening with the absence of Brian Stoller. Look for the tight end to become a key player, perhaps, in the Rider offense.
Boy, wouldn't Flanagan like to have that one back. Getting set to punt of the way. Craig Brown averaging about 37.6 yards a punt. He has none blocked. That one got close. Allen on the return. Finds a hole and still on his feet. He could go. He gets to the outside, across the 50. And yanked down from behind at the 35-yard line by Craig Brown.
And if not for Craig Brown, Lewisville gets on the board on a punt return. You will see one dandy punt return as the gentleman goes all the way across the field. He traveled a little more east and west before he was able to move north and south. He takes it at the 34. And of course, we're talking about Dwayne Allen, number 28, and just look at him go. He breaks a couple of tackles, and there's Craig Brown, one shoe on, one shoe off, pulling him down at the 35-yard line.
Back to live action. 5 missed tackles on that last play. This is Brown, Andrew Brown, one of the leading ball carriers back there for Lewisville. Behind Colby Wilson, it's Brown and Hancock, and Cleveland the tight end. The wide receiver is Brian Brown, and the other wide receiver is Lamont Turner. We'll set up the offensive line for you after this play. 2nd and about 9. Wilson up the middle. Brown close to the first down, up to about the 26-yard line before Perez brings him down.
Just a little straight ahead run, bringing up a 3rd down and short. It's 3rd and 1. Here is the Lewisville offensive line. The tight end, Jason Cleveland, Shane Veek, Arthur Godinez, Chris Smith, Charlie Flynn, and Jeff Myers from tackle to tackle.
We're going to chance to take a look at that Rider Raider defense here after this 3rd down call. 3rd and about 2. Up the middle again. Picking his way across the 25 up to the 24. Should have the first down for Andre Brown. And Browning coming into the ball game, 92 carries, 477 yards. Ranks way behind Lewis, but ranks at least in the top 20 in the area.
There's the talented backfield for Lewisville. Colby Wilson, the quarterback, Andre Brown, Howard Hancock, Brian Brown, and Lamont Turner. Running backs and receivers.
Enough for the first down. Brown to the right. Maybe a couple. And the defense will be tested if you're a Rider Raider fan. Scott Avery, one of the first men to get there for the Rider Raiders on that last set. We'll set up the defense for you as well. Saltzman's down there. Freeman, Petrash, Hart.
Scott Hart, Scott Saltzman, David Freeman, and Jason Petrash, the line for the Rider defense. And I think Scott Saltzman's going to have a standout game tonight for the Rider line.
Of course, they'll be subbing off and on.
Yes.
Try to keep an eye on some of the guys that are going to be in there. On the carry, Hancock gets his first carry of the afternoon. Terry McClure brings him down. But Hancock ranks as well as far as a leading ball carrier for Lewisville. 81 carries, 397 yards.
There are the linebackers and defensive backs: Chad Jackson, Curtis Simpson, Rashad Hickman, and Tyrone Wesley. The linebackers: Brian Lewis, Kevin Owens. The corners, and Scott Avery is playing center field tonight. Free safety.
Have a score to pass along to you. We'll do it after this play. Third down, play action. Looking to throw, he's wide open, touchdown. And that is what they did so important a week ago. They threw for 3 of those play action touchdown passes and chalk up one here tonight. Kobe Wilson with the touchdown pass, 23 yards out.
Okay, we lose sight of the wide receiver, so we don't really know where coverage breaks down, but it did break down, and it's 6-0 Lewisville.
Jason Cleveland with the catch as they get set for the extra point. It is up and good, and Lewisville is up on the board as Potter adds the extra point.
And of course, I'm sorry, Skip, what set that up was the fine punt return of approximately 30 yards from 35 to the 35. And then the 20-yard touchdown pass and catch to Cleveland, and Lewisville gets on the board first. Now, I know that's not how Wayne LeBlue wanted his defense to start this game, by giving up the touchdown on the Fighting Farmers' first series.
And talking a little bit about what the Farmers have done, a week ago they threw for 3 of those touchdown passes, and they were all play action. A 17-yard touchdown pass, a 68-yard touchdown pass, and a 12-yard touchdown pass. A week ago against their Sherman as they defeated them 34-10. A score in the first quarter. Old High leads Northwest by a score of 7-0. And
that's a nice surprise. Real nice surprise.
And a reminder, we'll have the Hershey Huskies later on this week. And the MSU Indians are back in town. It's homecoming. We'll have that for you as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that as they get set to boot it away. Potter. And again, it goes to Chad Jackson. Jackson up to the 25-yard line, and that's where it stops. And the Raiders will have their second possession of the night from the 25-yard line.
In unscrambling the rather complicated playoff system that appears to be taking place in large schools and big schools, let's talk about the significance this game has for Ryder this evening. What realistically does a loss do to Ryder tonight?
Well, a loss doesn't mean anything right now because they are, as far as, well, we'll touch up on that.
All right.
I'll give you the numbers, the school size numbers. Flags on the play. Lewis for a couple. We will check the flags, and while we check the flags, Lewisville is ranked 6th as far as attendance. Haltom is ranked number 2, and the Ryder Raiders are ranked number 7. So if the playoffs were to start today, Lewisville would go to the big school playoff, Haltom would go to the big school playoff, and the Ryder Raiders would go to the little school playoff. Now, of course, everybody had expected Marcus to be up there, along with Sherman to be up there. And if that happens, then maybe Ryder would have a chance to go to the big school playoff. But a loss would, with you lose to Lewisville here tonight, and then you still got Sherman to play, you can't really afford it.
Makes it tough. Thank you.
Lewis, first down, up to the 44-yard line. And Lewis, after coming off that 200-plus yard ball game, is waiting to find the holes here tonight.
And he got some good up-front blocking from the left side of the Ryder offensive line. And our next opportunity, we will take a look at that Ryder offensive line and set up the backs and receivers for you as well.
Dino Vilma in on the last tackle, but not before Lewis picks up the first down. With 6:03 left here in the quarter number 1, they trail 7-0. Again, Lewis looking for a hole that wasn't there, and he squeezes out 2 yards to about the 45-yard line.
Talking about the Ryder offensive line, we're going to show you those gentlemen in just a few moments. And there they are. Josh Grissom, the center, the guards Jeff Nolan and Mac Nars, the tackles Aaron Taylor and Ruben Covington, and the tight end Pat Carnine. Second down and 9, Skip, at the Ryder 45.
Flanagan On the pitch to Lewis. Lewis trying to get outside, unable to do so. Rashad Hickman tried to lay that lead block as he did so well a week ago. That time he got outmatched. And Cummings, along with Vilma, in on the tackle. And a third and passing situation.
And of course understand that this defensive line is a little more stout than the Richland Hills defensive line was last year. I think Mundrell was waiting for a block to be thrown, and he might have waited just a little bit too long before he picked up some speed.
Passing time. They fake the draw. Flanagan all day. Carnine with a catch. First down inside the 40 to the 37-yard line.
The interesting thing about that play is Carnine and Avery were in the same zone, and they bumped into each other momentarily. Defensive coverage went with Avery, leaving Carnine open to make the reception to the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 Raiders.
Carnine, his 7th catch of the season, and with the catch puts him close to 100 yards and 1 touchdown reception. This time they give the draw to Lewis. Lewis breaks a couple of tackles, gets inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line, and a good call that time for head coach Wayne LeBleu. A pickup of a couple. And coming up to the 4-minute mark now. Other games tonight, Haltom taking on Marcus, Keller at Richland, and Sherman playing at Denton. Trying to get you some scores. Play action. Flanagan looking. Now he decides to run with it and gets inside the 30 to the 29. He will be shy of the first down by about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 2 from there.
It was not a designed play, I don't think. I really do believe that he just did not find anybody open early enough, saw a hole develop momentarily, and thought that he could pick up some yardage, and he did. He picked up yardage to the 29. They need to get to the 27 for a first down. It's 3rd down and 2.
Osteen on the last tackle. Crucial 3rd down call. In motion, Scott Avery. They give to Lewis. Lewis has it at the 25-yard line, and the drive will continue for the Rider Raiders.
You know, it's almost an automatic that if Mundrell gets the ball up the middle, he's good on a situation, on a short yardage situation like that for 2 or 3 yard pickup, and that's exactly what they needed. He needed 2 and got 3.5.
Lewis averaging 5.9 yards every time he touches the ball. Coming into the game, 102 carries, 704 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and ranked 6th in the area in rushing. Here comes Lewis, cuts it back, and brought down at the 22-yard line. And can you recall, every time that there has been a successful Rider Raider tailback, they've been able to have that cutback ability.
Yes. He took it outside, saw a hole open up inside, so cut it back upfield, and he picked up 3 yards to the 22-yard line, where it'll bring up 2nd down and 7, 2.5 to go to the end of the quarter.
All the way back to the Willie Mozique days, huh?
Yes, my man, Willie Mozique.
Coming to the 2-minute mark now, 2:23. Lewis needs a block, and good defensive pressure put on that time from Lewisville in containing one of the first men to get there was Derek Osteen, and also the pursuit from Landers. Richard Landers, a defensive back, came up.
Rashad Hickman was out in front to lead the blocking, Skip, but one player can't always block 2.
So they're faced with another 3rd down. This one a little longer. 3rd and 7. Working out of the eye. Looking to throws. Got all day. Now decides to run. Has the sideline. And he's got the first down. Inside the 15-yard line. And what a gutsy move for Raymond Flanagan that time.
He had everybody mostly going to the right side, so that left a lot of real estate on the left side. And if he had gotten one block, and we'll see on the replay, hopefully, there was a Raider who was looking for someone to block and didn't find him in time, he might have been able to scamper into the end zone.
Dwayne Allen comes up on the defensive tackle. So a good offensive drive going right here. Hope they don't do what they did a couple of weeks ago, and that was drive the football all the way down to the 3-yard line and then fumble it away.
They won't do that tonight.
From the 14, Hickman cuts it back. See you later. Touchdown.
Now you see, you give it to Lewis, 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 you give it to Lewis. You throw it past the Car9, you run the ball a couple of times yourself, and while you think they're going to key on Lewis, you give it to the up back and let him take it all the way home for 14 yards out, and we're a point after away from being tied.
Hickman, his third rushing touchdown of the season, and Brown will get set for the extra point, and it's good. 1:14 to play in the quarter, and the Raiders are back in it. We're tied at 7. There's time out of the field. 1:14 to play in quarter number 1. The Raiders 7 and the Fighting Farmers 7. You're watching the Game of the Week on WFTV. Craig Brown gets set to boot it away. Fincher is back deep. And this one up to an up man who is still on his feet and brought down at the 30-yard line. Jake Battenfield, one of the up men, gets the football on that one.
Rashad Hickman scores from 14 yards out, going straight up the middle, and watch the nice blocking by the Rider offensive line. Missed tackle there by number 72, Jason Moore, allows Hickman to go home for 6 points. We are tied at 7. We are 8 seconds shy of a minute to go to the end of the quarter.
Now let's see what Kobe Wilson and the Fighting Farmers can do on their first possession. There's another play action. Going deep this time. Could be picked off, and it is. Scott Avery on the interception for the Rider Raiders.
His first. That is Scott's first interception of the season, the 9th for Rider. And you'll see there's the pass and double coverage on the tight end, 85, Jason Cleveland. Avery and Brian Lewis, number 12, on double coverage, and Scott playing center field is able to come up with the INT. That's the first turnover of the game, and let's see if the Raiders can take advantage of it with 1:01 to go to the end of the quarter.
He doesn't throw too many interceptions. I'll check his stats here in a minute. Lewis, nowhere to go that time. Back up to the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play.
And you see, Skip, on that last Rider touchdown, one thing we do want to point out is that the Raiders ate up nearly 5 minutes of clock time. And as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast tonight, one thing that we are looking for tonight is to see if Rider can control the ball. Ball control is one of the keys to victory tonight, I believe, for the Rider Raiders.
There you see the interceptions. Add one more to that. Draw play. Lewis needs a block. Won't get it. Back up to the 40-yard line.
You know, Skip, one of the things that we mentioned was that was the 9th INT of the season for Rider, and the one player not on there, Sean Perez, has an interception as well. We are noticing that the Rider Raiders are running well to the left and up the middle. One of the things that Donnie Lang pointed out to us, he's sitting in the next booth this evening, but he came in to tell us, you know, he's able to see it from a different perspective this night, and he said that, you know, they're running well left and up the middle.
That'll do it for the first quarter, and while we take this first quarter break, another score to give you. The Coyotes have jumped out on front by a score of 14-7 over Northwest. This one we are tied at 7 after 1 quarter of play. 7-7 our score between the Fighting Farmers and the Rider Raiders. We'll come back with second quarter action right after these fine words from our sponsors. Second quarter action, the Raiders will be faced with a 3rd and about 8 after the interception. This is their 3rd possession of the night. First possession they ended up punting away. Second was a touchdown, and here's the 3rd. What a catch. First down at the 45-yard line on the reception. Kevin Parsons, the 5'7", 168 senior with a catch.
Kevin Parsons drew one-on-one coverage, and he just ran a simple little post, ran 7 yards, and cut it in towards the middle, picking up valuable yardage all the way to the 41-yard line. Beg your pardon, the 44-yard line, where the Raiders have another first down.
Parsons with his first catch of the season, and credit Flanagan on that one. He threaded the needle. That's Parsons in motion. And Lewis looking for the hole. up to about the 41 where they will officially spot the ball. And Lewis is trying to tiptoe his way before Hinkle, Alan Hinkle, number 33, in on the stop. So quarter number 2, first quarter observation so far. In coming to the stadium, everybody said, well, Lewisville would at least have a 14-point lead by the first quarter, and not so.
Not so at all. We'll talk a little bit more about that after this play.
Second down, about 7. Hickman didn't fool anybody that time. Good defensive pressure put on by Lewisville. One of the first men to get there on the defense. There he is, P.J. Shields, number 65.
The first quarter observation as far as Lewisville is concerned is they took advantage of that long punt return from the 35 to the 35. Ryder defensive coverage breaks down, allowing for the long touchdown pass. But that'll happen. Ryder came right back and scored.
Third and about 10. Flanagan getting pressured this time. Nowhere to run. Avoids one tackler. Gets to the 35-yard line. And let's see where they officially mark this ball at. It is close to a first down.
I think he's got the first down because it looks like he stepped at it around the 33-yard line. The line of scrimmage, or this series rather, this particular series started at the 44. He got to the 33, so that was 11 yards. Not an 11-yard pickup. That was an 8-yard pickup from the 41 to the 33. They needed 7. They got 8.
Dwayne Allen makes the stop, but not before Flanagan with the little fancy footwork and the first down from the 33. Uh-oh, fumble. And Lewis, or making Raiders have it back.
Ramon was able to cover his own mistake to keep the drive going, and we don't want to see turnovers tonight. Turnovers may play a factor. Right now, the Raiders are trying to take advantage of the first turnover committed by the Fighting Farmers.
We'll see if he ever got the snap on this one.
He tried to pull back and set up this play before he ever had control of the ball, and that happens.
Back to live action. Flanagan on the pitch to Lewis. Lewis breaks a tackle, gets outside, and he's close to another first down.
Talented running back, isn't he? We are really enjoying watching him run this year in the same way that we enjoyed seeing Robert Brooks last year and Willie Mozique in years past. Flanagan handing or pitching back to Lewis, and Mundrell using a block from Rashad Hickman, but playing off of 2 tackles is able to pick up yardage close to the first down. If he's short, he's only short by about a half a yard.
Neander on the tackle. And getting back to something that we need to discuss, first down, as Lewis, with a heck of a game he had with the 221 yards. I'm sure he was player of the week for other people. But what was your reaction in giving away the player of the week?
When we gave it to Rashad Hickman at the Ryder Pep Rally on Friday afternoon, I think Rashad was a little dumbfounded. He couldn't really figure out what he did, and as he approached the area where we were standing to present him with his block, I said, you know, you threw a couple of key blocks on the 2 long touchdowns, and that was a key.
Sack time, the very first sack of the evening.
We had originally set it up to where Lewis was going to join me at the front and present the award to Rashad himself, but we kind of got our signals crossed, and Coach LeBlue was trying to get Lewis to come up, and Mundrell was a little slow to react. That was the only time we've ever seen him slow to react. Rashad was quite happy, and then Lewis did get a Player of the Game award from one of the local radio stations.
Neander with a crucial sack that time on Flanagan, the first of the night for Lewisville. A loss of 4 on the play. 2nd and 14 now, right at the 26-yard line. Lewis up in the air and a spin move up to about the 23-yard line. Hinkle brings him down.
I think that was a good smart play to run on 3rd down with long yardage to go. Just move the ball a little bit closer to the middle of the field, or 2nd down in long yardage. Just move the ball a little bit closer to the middle of the field, not risk anything this deep in Lewisville territory. You still have another down to play with.